You're watching The Agenda. Police have vowed to continue to work hard to combat threats posed by extortion across the country. Later this afternoon, we are also expecting the National Police Commissioner, Fanie Masemola, to provide an update on their approach and strategies to tackle extortion. Before that briefing, let's hear from UNISA's criminologist, Prof. Oscar Magadze, that joins us now. Prof, thank you so much for your time. So this is a sad state of affairs. We're seeing communities living in fear. We're seeing businesses having to shut down, as we continue to crisscross the country and look at all these cases. So let's hear from you. Are you able to pinpoint what the actual problem is here? What are the main factors driving the rise in extortion in South Africa?
Yes, good morning to you and your viewers at home. Indeed, this is a serious issue that the country is currently facing at the moment. So there are so many factors that are triggering this type of an offense or of criminality. These extortion syndicates, they are aimed to achieve so many things, but mostly on financial aspect. So the issue of community victimization is a serious issue because these guys, what they do, they instill fears within the communities. They create a climate of fears within the communities because they threaten them day in, day out. So that's one of the issues. But the most important part that we need to look at is that these guys, they're focusing much on issue of getting properties and money. So that's one of the main mandate, to get money from those victims and properties by through those demands or threats that they do within their communities.
And quite worrying there, Prof. I want you to also maybe just explain to us, how does extortion impact communities on the day-to-day? Purely because we also just saw a groundbreaking piece by Cutting Edge just a few moments ago right here on the program, where we even saw senior citizens that are also being targeted.
Yes, it affects communities so badly because now they even change their daily routine. Their lifestyle needs to change completely because they are even targeted when they are on the street. Some they receive messages that if they leave their household, so they are members of the families, they can be killed or they can kidnapped. So it affects the whole community because it also affects the issue of business within those communities. Those people who are running those small businesses around the communities, they have to close their business because they are also under threat. They are also targeted. So it affects almost the entire communities in a social perspective and economical perspective. So it makes things difficult. You can see now this thing is starting to escalate to schools. Now these young ones, they start copying what these elders are doing or these groups are doing in schools. They start threaten other learners. So you can see that it's growing huge and it's starting to intervene in all aspects of lives in those areas.
And I also want us to zone into the current climate, Prof, looking at our communities right now, looking at all the social ills as well as some of the hardships that people face on the day-to-day in their communities. We've seen joblessness continues to rise here in the country. I want to hear from you right now. Looking at all of that, do you think this is just pure criminality or elements of just being opportunistic and taking advantage of all these businesses that are happening in our communities?
According to our South African law, it's a criminality on its own. It's a crime and it is punishable by the law. So if you deprive someone's rights already, you will infringe someone's rights. So it's against the law. So if you can see what these guys are doing, they are unlawfully forcing people intentionally, taking their properties, forcing them to pay. They call it protection fees. So the elements of criminality is there. So immediately, these are something that needs to be prosecuted. These are the people that need to be prosecuted and sent to jail according to our Criminal Procedure Act. So as a country, we need to be there and support all the entities, especially police officers, in order to apprehend all these criminals.
Indeed, Prof. And what strategies do you think are most effective in combating extortion? And can you perhaps maybe even provide examples of successful interventions or measures that have been taken in other countries that could be applied in this instance?
You know, comparing countries somehow it might lead us to a misdirective, because you know, when we are dealing with Africans, If you can't compare Africans with other foreign countries, but the issue of extortion it seems as if it's dominant here in South Africa, because it's not something new. It's just that people, they don't talk because of fear. So then the issue that needs to happen firstly is for community themselves to stand up and fight against these things, and to engage, and then to be there for police officers, because you cannot resolve this issue. Police cannot resolve these issues alone. And I mean, we need communities themselves, because these people are the part of the community. So they're coming from the community. So then the Department of Justice and SAPS as well, they need to improve their skills. They need to, for me, I think they need to establish the unity, that an undercover unit, because these things requires an undercover unit, because there's issue of private people that don't want to come out. They want to protect themselves. They want to protect their families. So that's why some they don't want to speak out. So you know, as a country, we still have an issue with the issue of whistleblowers. There's the issue of protecting whistleblowers is still an issue. So then, if it's still an issue, then really, as a country, we need to find a way to come up with, so that we can eliminate this type of criminality. But coming up with a unity that specifically deals with the extortions, and establish those unities across all provinces, I think it will work, instead of to have a special task team coming from the national division. So let's have those task team within provinces. Then we give them resources. Then I think we can be able to win on that part, as long as we have support from other NGOs, stakeholders, and like security companies. They are there on the ground as well. So I think with the resource that we have as a country, we just have to improve that and there in order to defeat these syndicates.
And Prof, I also just need to pick your brain on a point that you've just made now as you were answering me there. You spoke about community members and the role that they can also play in all of this. But the reality on the ground, as you've also rightfully mentioned, we're also grappling with the protection of whistleblowers, but also as well, you have people that have lost faith in the criminal justice system, have lost faith in the authorities as well, as they also carry out their duty there. Let's hear, because I'm assuming this will all begin with members of the community having faith and confidence in law enforcement to successfully deal with all these issues. How do we start cleaning our house and getting our house in order?
Yeah, you know, the issue of gaps between the law and orders of and communities, it's one of the serious issues at the moment. Because if we can have that gap where actually the department or SAPS division, they need to make sure that they close that gap. They need to go down to the community. They need to have all these initiatives. They need to have community empowerment, community programs, in order to educate communities, in order to close the gap, in order to make sure that communities are always updated. For example, the issue that makes hit the gaps is because communities, they are facing criminality on a daily basis. One community crime tomorrow is out on the street. So then no one explain to them what's the reason why this person is out. When you talk to the police, they said no, because there's no evidence. Of which there's no evidence, but if police, they can engage with the community and educate them and to show them the importance of evidence, that leads to prosecutions. Surely the community, they can come on board. So it's that gap that we are having with our justice system, with the community. Communities, they don't know what's happening within the Department of Justice. And what they see only police to come and arrest. After that, what they want to see that person going to prison or correctional center. But it cannot just happen as that, because they need evidence. So, and communities, they are there with evidence. So they need community, they are there to assist the SAPS. As long as the institutions are close together and make sure that they are always there and educate our communities.
And Prof, I'm also going to ask you, what's your fair assessment of what you've been seeing unfolding thus far? I know the police have also come under harsh criticism for the way they have been dealing with these alleged extortionists. What's your fair assessment on how police have been dealing with this matter so far?
Yeah, and the National Commission. I want to commend the minister firstly. You know, the way he's always working with the National Commissioner. So it's good for the country. So the National Commission has dispatched the team of detectives to go down there on the street to check, to do investigations. That's why you see now even the minister is going down there. So the approach is very good. I mean, it shows the agents of the issue. So that's what we want to see as a country. But we want to see prosecutions. Yes, there are those criminals. They have guns. Like now, there was a shooting between them and the police, and then. So it shows that these people, they are ready for everything. So if what is happening now from the SAPS, it's good, but they need to improve and make sure that they empower people within those affected areas so that they can be able to do what, to assist them in order to eliminate all these syndicates.
UNISA's criminologist, Prof. Magadze, joining us there to unpack this conversation. Thank you so much indeed for your insights.